Hi and welcome. My name is Clifton Wright, International Director, Top Performance Council member, right here out of Ontario, Canada. I want to welcome you to this special training. It's a residential energy training specifically focusing on gas and electricity in Ontario. And I want to just congratulate you, first of all, for being on this call and taking that step towards financial freedom. We understand that we've got just an incredible opportunity with Momentis, and for you to find out about the opportunity at such a crucial time, I really want to congratulate you. And I understand that being a part of that success is taking massive action right away. And I did that just a few short years ago, getting started here with Momentis, and I saw the opportunity right away to be able to secure a big time long-term residual income. And it's been proven in our industry that energy and network marketing is where you want to be. And so, folks, I took advantage of that. And here I am today, just being able to retire with this incredible opportunity. And not only that, we've got people in our team that are making a six-figure residual income already. And we're just so super excited about Team Legacy. And more importantly, excited that you're on board and being able to now get the training and support that you need to take your business to the next level. So let's get started. Tonight, we're going to talk about residential gas and electricity in Ontario. We're going to go into some specifics on how it works and how you can be better at your business and understand the product side of our business as we get started. The key that I really want to cover in our business is that you don't have to be an expert, folks, on natural gas and electricity. In fact, I was never an expert, but over the time of throughout the business, you're going to find that you're going to learn more and more. But it doesn't require you to be an expert to make an incredible income in this business. It's all about gathering a few customers. And the reality is 95% of customers today, they have no clue what they're paying for. They don't understand it, how it works. And in most cases, it's really going to be you educating them. But at the same time, you need to be confident about what you're talking about. And tonight, we're going to really just cover exactly what you need to know and what you need to understand to be able to be a great customer gatherer. I just want you, first of all, to understand that our business is all about relationship marketing. It's not based on convincing people that they're going to save money or price or any of that stuff, folks. It's not about you selling the product so much. It's all about relationship marketing and you gathering a handful of customers, but more importantly, teaching other people how to go out and do that and build an incredible network of customers. And so I want you to know it's all about friends, family, your neighbor, left neighbor to the right, it doesn't matter. Just people that you know, love, and trust. And you're going to be going to them as you get started in your business, asking them for help and for a small favor. And you need to really share your why. Why is it that you're doing this business? What gets you passionate about being successful with Momentus? And as you share that, you're going to tell them that you're now in business for yourself. You're working with a great company, energy company. You just need a favor and ask them to become your customer. More importantly, though, folks, you're going to make sure that you tell them not to worry. There's no risk, and they can actually save some money. In fact, over the last few years with Momentus and Just Energy, I've been a customer of Just Energy even before Momentus for 3.5 years. And what I realized, folks, is that we have customers out there, the credibility is out there. And so, as you're talking to your friends, your family, and so forth, you want to make sure that you talk about Just Energy and the credibility and the documentation around this company. They've obviously been in business since 1997, and also they've got over 4 million customers today. It just keeps growing and growing and growing, and they're doing over $3 billion in revenue. So you want to make sure your customers know how huge this retailer is, one of the largest in North America. And folks, you want to put them at ease to know that, hey, you know what, they can switch over with you, with this company. They're in great hands. And so you want to share the credibility and the documentation of this publicly traded company. That's very important as you talk to friends and family about the business. So just want to make sure you understand that we're just in the business of gathering a few customers based on relationships. So let's talk now about a couple of key things that you need to keep in mind when you get started in your business. Is number one, you need to be qualified to be able to enroll energy customers here in Ontario. And so, what does that mean? Well, number one, it means that you need a proper photograph on your website. You know, folks, this is a business and it's heavily controlled by the Ontario Energy Board. So, we want to represent Just Energy in the best way possible and be professional about it. And so, they need a picture on your website. And this is not a picture of you being on the beach, folks. It's a picture like a passport type picture where you're professional and keep it like that. And you know, the second thing is, folks, just really completing an online test. And it's very simple. In fact, I don't like to do tests myself, but I'm going to tell you that it's pretty simple and no one fails because it's multiple choice, just giving you some nuggets and tips around the energy market here in Ontario. And so you want to get that done right away by going to www.companycollege.com/momentous. That link is also in your Momentis biz site, but more importantly, you can just go right to that link. The very same day you get started, make sure you go there, you complete that test. Very simple, the Ontario Energy Board test. And if you get the answer wrong, you'll get a chance to click the next answer so no one fails it. So let's talk about the certification. You know, in our business, if you have not completed those two tasks, then when you try to enroll from your website, and by the way, we do all our online enrollment right from our website. So you need to make sure you're on your website when you're doing that and click on products and then, of course, residential energy. And it's going to show you a drop down menu, and so if you don't see Ontario in that option, then obviously you have not done the certification. Either the test is not done or the picture is not done. And whatever time you do the picture, it gets updated normally the next business day by corporate. So you can now see the Ontario option and you are ready to roll. So let's talk about the product then. You know, we're going to cover natural gas and electricity. We'll talk a little bit about the product and then, of course, how you go about enrolling the customers and so forth. So let's talk about natural gas. Well, like here is an example of a bill. It's actually a real example of an Enbridge bill. And in Ontario, the two primary gas companies are Enbridge Utility and also Union Gas. And one of the things that you want to really highlight to your customers also is that the bill doesn't change, which is great. They continue to get that same bill from the local utility, whether it's Enbridge um, or Union Gas, folks. It doesn't matter. They're going to be getting that same bill. And also, a lot of times people ask me, it says, Clifton, well, what about these other charges on the bill? Would that change? And you know, you'll have people giving you all kinds of information, and that's really not true. These charges will not change. This is a customer charge, delivery charge, transportation charges are all standard charges from Enbridge. The bottom part of the bill in Just Energy's case is the only thing that's changing, which is the gas supply charge. So as you're talking to your customers, make sure you just say, folks, oh, the only thing that changes on your bill is who's supplying the gas to your home. And it's also because most people don't like change. And so the fact that they're going to get the same bill, they're going to pay it the same way, even if they're on equal billing, which is just an arrangement with the utility company so they can be paying an equal amount every month. In fact, I really don't like that option because at the end of the year, if they haven't paid enough, they'll come back and bill them a lump sum. So I really don't recommend that to customers, but they have that option, and that doesn't change if they're already on that plan with the local utility. The only thing that changes, again, it shows on the bill now. For questions about your gas commodity, call Just Energy, and there's a phone number there. And of course, the gas supply charge will change, and I'll talk about those options for the customer. And I really like this because no one goes to their home to connect anything or to hook up anything at all. It's all done online, and within 30 to 90 days, that bill, the supply gets changed over to Just Energy. So, really excited about the simplicity of what's on that bill. Let's talk about a couple of more other important things that we'll see on a customer's bill. So, as you look at a family member's bill, they may have been already with another retailer like a Direct Energy or a Just Energy. And that's very important because if they're already in a contract with one of those companies and you enroll them on your website, the enrollment is going to go through, but they're going to get a notification from those companies say, hey, you know what, you're choosing to switch from us and you're in an existing contract. They could result in an exit fee. So we want to make sure that we identify that right away on someone's bill. And the way you identify that is just like over here where it says energy supplied by Just Energy. So right away, we know that this particular customer is already with our company. What is going to happen if they're already with our company? Well, number one, you can't re-enroll them as a customer because they are already a customer with Just Energy. They've already spent money to acquire that customer. The other option is that person now can become a representative. And the great thing about Momentis and Just Energy is that they actually allow for you to become your own customer if you are already with them. And that's a great benefit. And we'll see a lot of customers already in the Ontario marketplace. So that's one option there. You find somebody that's already a customer, they should be in this business. You want to show them the opportunity first, and then and let them become their own customer. And 95% of the time, I sign these people up, folks, because they're already paying that bill. Why not get paid on it? But the reality is, if they choose not to become a representative, then you cannot sign them up. So let's talk about if they're with another retailer like Direct Energy or Summit Energy. There's only a handful of other options. You want to make sure that you advise them before you enroll them to call that company. Now, the phone number is always at the bottom. Okay, it will say for question about your gas commodity, for example, call Direct Energy. And so we know they're with a competitor. And the first thing you want to do is have them call to see how long are they left in that contract and what is the exit fees if they were to come out of it. And here's the clue that I'm teaching you tonight is that you need to advise your customers that the only thing they should be doing on that call is asking what the exit fee is. Because typically, when they call this other company, Direct Energy, they will try to keep them. They'll try to move their rate down from, let's say, 34 cents per cubic meter. By the way, that's how we measure the gas in cubic meter, which is M3. And they'll try to get them down to, let's say, 25 cents, or they will lower their rate in order to keep them because gas rates have really changed and dropped so much over the last couple of years. And so you don't want them to end up doing that because what will happen is that company will put them into another new contract for another 5 years, and you don't want to lose your prospect or your customer. So very important to advise them that all they need to know is how much time is on that contract so they can now decide, hey, you know what, is it worthwhile to pay that penalty and come over here with us in Just Energy? And a lot of times I find that it is worth it. So folks, really excited about that. And so let's see what else is on that bill. On the bill here, you will notice on this option here that there's going to be a service address on the customer's bill. And this is really important because also they have what we call a billing address. And this is important as you're enrolling the customer online because there are going to be situations where someone is not necessarily that's living at the address is not the one that's paying the bill. The bill comes to for example, for those that have a rental property, they may have the customer's uh, address as the actual service address where the people live, but also the billing now is where that person who owns the property is, and they're paying the bill. So as you're enrolling your customer, just keep in mind that they could be two different addresses on the bill, and you need to recognize that as you're doing the enrollment online. Okay, so let's look at a bill right now that is also a Just Energy bill, but it is on one of our plans that we call a, a predictor bill, which is a fixed dollar amount of 34.99. Okay, so I want you to know that this is an exact Just Energy bill, and if you were looking at a bill coming directly from Enbridge, where they are supplying the energy, the only difference over here, you would not see this message over here, but which is really important now is that as you are enrolling the customers online for the natural gas, it's going to ask you for the gas total that's used for that period. And over here is where you're going to see this information here, gas use this period, and you want to put that information in. It's going to estimate the usage for the year for the customer. Why is that important? Well, on the predictable option that we have, it's actually based on their usage. There is a cutoff usage, which is 3,300 cubic meters for the year. And the key thing to understand is that the standard household in Ontario uses only about 2,500 cubic meters. So for the predictable option that we have, which is a fixed dollar amount of 34.99, regardless of the usage for the month, it's going to be 34.99 over the 3-year time frame. And so it's important, though, during the enrollment process, which we'll talk about in a second here, that you identify and put in the gas usage for that period of time. For example, in this case, it's 268, and times the computer will times that by 12 months, and they'll see that they're actually below the 3,300 threshold for being on this plan. If they're over that, then it's going to give them a different option during the enrollment process. So here's the screen where you actually put in that information, the total consumption in cubic meter for that period, and then it will give a total of the amount here, and it will then give them one of two plan options for the gas. It'll give the what we call the predictive bill option and then two other options, or it will give the predictive bill plus option where the 3 year is it's $49.99 because their usage is more than 3,300 cubic meters. So I want to go back here to just the predictive bill, which is someone, a household that uses less than 3,300 cubic meters. So very important as you enroll in the customer at the beginning, you put it in looking at their the latest bill if possible, and put in what their usage, estimated usage is. So let's say, for example, it's a predictable customer and they're using less than 3,300 cubic meter. So on this option here, while you're doing the enrollment, it's going to actually say over here, predictable, and that's one option. And then we've got a rate flex option, and then we've got a price protection option. So let's talk about these three different options for your customer. The first one that I was talking about initially is predictable, which simply means it's a fixed dollar amount. It's not based on their usage so much. It's fixed dollar amount for 3 years, and all the other fees are just standard fees by the utility company. The difference between that one and the 3 year 100% green is that you're paying an extra $10 per month just for 100% green energy. And what that means here, green energy is just the customer agreeing to contribute a small fee back to the development of green, cleaner energy production here. And that's great. A lot of customers are really focusing on that right now. The important thing for us here in the business is that the green energy option actually gives you one or two customer points. Some of the product with 40% green, that will give you two customer points. And if it's 100% green, it's three customer points. Here is a recommendation. I'm telling you, if you are a representative in the business, you're becoming your own customer, folks, you better be going on that 100% green. That's my recommendation because it gives you the great value of three energy customer points. It's more residuals, and it's three elite customer points. And remember, it's a business and it's a business expense over here. And so you want to maximize that. If you're putting your regular customer, though, you may want to go with just the basic 0% green, which would be giving them the best savings in our business. But also look at the 5 year options where you're tying up a residual for an extra 2 years, and it's only for $5 more, $39.99. I think it's just a great option. $40 a month paying your for your gas bill over 5 years. Folks, rates are going back up, which means that I just love the predictable option. Okay. Now, the second option is what we call the rate flex, and that's simply just a variable rate, but it changes every single month. So, what is it for next month? I don't know at this point. It's going to give you actually a 3 month introductory rate of 12.9 cents right now, and these are all in pennies, folks. It's 12.9 cents is the rate, okay, but it's based on your rate times your usage, and it's a variable rate. And the great thing that I like about this option here is that if somebody is not using a lot of gas and their bill is less than 34.99 per month, which hardly ever see that, then you'd want to put them on the rate flex because that's a great option. What happens here after the 3 years, Just Energy actually looks at what the customer's consumption and charge would have been if they were with Enbridge or the local utility. And if they've paid more by being in Just Energy, they actually send them a credit back. Folks, that's like a guaranteed savings with people being on that rate plan, variable rate plan. But I really like that option too. And number three is the price protection, which is just a fixed rate option, always going to be more than what the variable rate is. Keeping in that mind that you're getting the protection of knowing that rate will never change, regardless of what's happening out there. So the predictable, great option. Two points for it. and all the rates, folks, is just great. So you decide with your customer and you select that one during the online enrollment process. If the bill amount exceeds 3,300 cubic meter, then you will still get the rate flex option, and you will also still get the price protection option. But just know that based on the usage, you now got the predictable plus, which shows over here, and the customer now is able to choose 49.99 or 54.99 over the 5 years. So really, the only difference is because there's a higher usage, then they're paying $10 more on the 3 year plan on the predictable plus. Okay, so just so you understand a little bit about the different rate option, there's three, and just a couple of other note here as far as the gas is that the exit fees, and here's what I really love here, is that it's unlike the way things were in the past where people were skeptic about these retailers because they would not only be locked into a contract and they have this huge exit fees. The government actually changed the law as of January 2011, which now says that retailers cannot charge people more than $100 on the exit fee. So on the predictor bill, it's capped at $100 and it's prorated. Okay, so also on the price protection plan, there is an exit fee of $75 for each remaining year. So I really want you to understand that now you can let your customers know that you don't have to worry about having to pay five, $600, $700 by coming out of this. And the great thing is that why would somebody want to leave Momentis and Just Energy for their energy service if they're saving money and they're on a plan, they're supporting you as a family member, and they don't have these huge exit fees? They can leave if they do want to, but guess what? People are sticking, and Just Energy has a high renewal ratio on the customer. So I'm really excited about our gas program. And let's start now about the electricity program. I'm really excited about the electricity. It's a little bit more complicated, but I'm going to tell you that I think that we can get almost 100% of customers now when you understand what's going on here with Momentis and Just Energy with the electricity. Now, just like the gas, the only difference on the bill again is going to say for question about your electricity, just call or Just Energy. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is as you're looking at the energy bill, look for where it says for questions about your energy bill, call. And if that's not on there, then you know they're with the local utility. I will talk a little bit more about that. So let's talk about electricity in Ontario. And if you're with the local utility company, you're on one of two plans. You're on this plan they call the tiered rate, which basically means that you're charged at one rate for up to 1,000 kilowatt hours. They measure the electricity in kilowatt hours. Okay, so you're charging this example 7.4 cents per kilowatt up to 1,000, and anything over 1,000 of usage, then you pay at 8.7 cents. I'll tell you this right now. You very rarely see anybody still on that plan because the government have actually spent millions of dollars changing out all the meters on people's homes and now charging a different rate, which we call the time of use billing. So I want to switch gears and talk about time of use. A lot of people know it as the smart meter or the not so smart meter because they're actually charging people different rates at different times of the day. And the third option is what we call the retail contract, like what we're offering here through Momentis and Just Energy. So I want to talk a little bit about the time of use. First of all, because most people are on this time of use type of use billing right now, which is they're billing you different times or different rates for different times of the day. They have what we call the peak time, and they have what we call the mid peak and off peak. And just understand that the highest rates are during the times when people are they're up in the morning between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. and using their hot water, they're using heating, they're actually doing laundry and all this kind of stuff and cooking and so forth. And also then between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. when you're coming home from work, doing your laundry again and cooking and cleaning and run your air conditioner during the day and all that stuff. So this is meant to have people restrict their usage and also worry about the inconvenience and all that stuff and doing your laundry late at night. So that's not a great thing, folks. And see, if you want to benefit from that, you have to do some things late at nights and weekends. And so how do we come in as retailers with our option, through Just Energy? We've got two options for the electricity right now. It's the rate flex, which is a variable rate, and also the my time, which I'll talk about first. It's a 5-year option, and it basically takes whatever the mid peak is to the local utility minus a tenth of a penny. Okay, so let's talk about the my time first. Okay, so the my time simply works in conjunction with the local utility rates. It really just takes the mid peak rate. In this example is 9.9 cents. And by the way, the utility changed their rate, the time of use rate, twice a year. So every 6 months, and whatever rates these are, then we basically will be that rate minus a tenth of a penny. So let's look at it, for example. So the mid peak is the mid peak minus tenth of a penny. So right now, the current mid peak, as mentioned, is 9.9 cents per kilowatt hours. And so with our rate, as you can see, it is 9.8 cents per kilowatt hour. So that is the current rate as we speak until they change this rate. But what this is telling you is that our rate here with Momentis and Just Energy is guaranteed to always be lower than the peak, which is the highest rate, and also below the mid peak. It will never get to the off peak, which is the lowest ultimately. But keeping in mind that most people's usage is up towards the high peak and the mid peak. Okay, so I'm really excited for the my time rate is really a fixed rate for that 6 month. And whenever the mid peak rate changes, ours will change and stay just below it. Okay, so very, very simple to explain the my time to your customers. It takes this smart meter or this time of use billing, and whatever the mid peak rate is will always be just a tenth of a penny below that, and it's set. You don't have to worry about what time of day you're doing your laundry and cooking and cleaning. It's a peace of mind. And right now we're getting a lot of customers because people are starting to understand this is the only way to get away from the smart meter is by switching over to a company like Just Energy. So let's look at a typical electricity bill. Okay, this is a Toronto hydro bill, and it doesn't matter who you're with. In fact, we've got dozens of companies that you're going to see in your drop down menu, depending on where you live, whether it's in Mississauga for Source, or Toronto Hydro, or Brampton for Hydro One Brampton, or Ottawa. It doesn't matter which area you're in or which utility company. You can switch over to Just Energy and Momentis. Okay, the key here to understand here is that if you look at a customer's bill and you see all of these um, time of use here, it basically just telling you that this person is on the smart meter, because you obviously can see that they're being charged different rates for different times of the day: mid peak, high peak, off peak. Okay, and they're going to add up all these charges. In this example now, this customer is actually paying $160.65. You'll see on this bill also there are some charges: the time, the delivery charge, and debt retirement charges. Those charges will not change by switching over to Momentis and Just Energy. Again, folks, the only thing that's changing is who's supplying the energy to the customer's house. Okay, very, very important. And so let's talk about the other option, which is the rate flex. We talked about the my time as just being the 5-year 9.9 as an example, and we're at 9.8. And here's the great thing I like with the my time: there is no exit fee. Someone could sign up for 5 years and no penalties if they ever come out of it. So let's talk now about the rate flex as the other option. We've got 1 year and 3 year, and 40% and 100% green. And so what is the market rate? It's really what is the rate flex? It's the market rate plus 1 penny, and it's not $1, it's 1 penny. And so the confusing thing here with the market rate is that it is a variable rate, and the market rate is a rate set by the Ontario Energy Board for retailers. And so all that Just Energy does is add 1 penny to it, and then there's a tax, or what we call the global adjustment. So option two, the rate flex, is made up of three components: again, the market rate plus a penny plus the global adjustment. So how do we know what the market rate is? Well, there is a website. It's called the IESO.com. And that's the Ontario Energy Board site that basically shows you a chart of all the market rate that changes. In fact, it changes on a daily basis. It changes on an hourly basis. So the key here is that there's averages for the month and for the year. In fact, for the last 10 years of what that market rate is. And then we just simply add 1 cent to it. And then the global adjustment, which is a variable component that changes also, it's like a tax, okay? And even if you're on the local utility through the smart meter rating, that global adjustment is also included, okay? So just so you know, it's already included in that rate. So let's look at this chart here from the Ontario Energy Board. And by the way, please do not send your customer to the IESO.com website. This is just for informational purposes, and you will just confuse them. It's not for you to get too techie. If you get too techie, there's no checky, folks. And I want to tell you that over here, it's for you to understand your business, because people will ask you, well, what is the market rate? And so the market rate we can find online. In fact, for 2012, it's been averaging 2.41 cents. But let's just look at December's market rate, 2012 as an example. Okay, the market rate or at that point was 2.55 cents, and then the global adjustment was 4.94 cents, and of course Just Energy adds that 1 cent to it of their charge. So the total market rate, the total rate for the charge for that month of December was 7.49 cents per kilowatt hour. You can see it's lower than the mid peak rate and the my time rate, but it is a variable component that can go as high or as low as the market. So the key here is that I really like this market rate. It's been pretty low. And as you can see here, you can look at what the average has been over the last year, plus 1 cent plus whatever the global adjustment is, which you can find on another chart. But the key here is that the average rate for 2012 has been 7.39 cents per kilowatt hour. And folks, I'm including the average of the market rate, the global adjustment, and that penny. Everything's included. So if somebody says, well, what is the market rate? The way I answer them is that, well, it is a variable rate that changes every month. And so the total rate has been averaging 7.39 cents for all of last year. Okay, meaning all of 2012. And so 7.39 cents is the key, that you just want to keep that number in your mind to say, well, it's been averaging 7.39, okay? But it's shown now that's been a great option to be on, and historically has been the best option. So I'm really excited about the variable rate component. And those are the two. Again, it's the market rate plus 1 cent. And if you're going with that option now, you can go for 40% green, which gives you 2 customer points, and you're being charged an extra 1.99 cent per kilowatt hour, which is awesome, folks. That's 2 points right there. And then if you go with the 100% green, that could be 3 points. And I'm going to suggest, if you're brand new and you're getting started, you can make $500 upfront by gathering 25 customer points, and you can go with the option to get 3 points for your website, and then definitely get 3 points for your gas bill, 3 points for your electricity bill. That's 9 right there. You get the other services like the energy miser, or all the other any other services, and you can see quickly you can make some money just off being the customers up front here. So 2 plans, my time and electricity rate flex. Hope that makes some sense here to you. And next thing is just a couple of other pieces of information here. The My Time I mentioned earlier, there's no exit fee. The rate flex is capped at $50 for each year remaining. So you can tell that on a 3 year, the maximum exit fee will be $150. So just again, your customers, it's all based on relationship, and give them that peace of mind that they're not locked into anything long term that they can't come out of, or with any huge ridiculous exit fee. So, and on top of that, just to mention, all our customers have 30 days from the day that they get their first invoice or first bill, and they can cancel their service without any cancellation fee whatsoever. And normally it takes 30 to 16 to 90 days anyways for service to be in place. So worry free, and you can go out and rest assured you can get customers. Let's talk about the online enrollment process. You're of course going to go to your website, you click on products, you click on residential, and it's going to take you to a page here where you simply fill in the information. For example, this person's with Thunder Bay Hydro. You just put in your account number. It's very important you put it in the format that is telling you online. And I always suggest enroll one bill at a time so you can learn through the process. Okay, so let's talk about some key things during the online enrollment process. It's going to ask you for the account holder. I always say leave it as account holder, and it's going to ask for the phone number. This is the phone number of the customer. If it's your bill that you're enrolling, then go ahead and put in your home phone number there, and all the information is very basic information. Make sure you put the email address in the right spot. And I spoke earlier about billing address. If you have a billing address, you want to click on there, this over here, so it automatically copies the address over if it's the same billing and shipping address. Now, one thing that's really important is that you have to put in the name of the customer properly. If you are the customer and it says on here the prefix, if you have a Mr. or Miss on your bill, or doctor, you want to make sure you put that in. So whatever the bill says with Enbridge or a Union Gas, you want to put in the name exactly that way, because they actually matches up the names, and if it doesn't match, it's going to reject, guys. So make sure, very important, put the information in just the way it is on your bill, and then you're going to have a successful enrollment. Okay, so let's just go to the information about the enrollment process. Of course, you've now enrolled the bill. It's going to go through a section where you choose the plan, and then you just fill in some other information, and now you're done. You've submitted that customer, or your customer gone ahead and submitted on the website. And now that bill is in submitted status in your back office. Now, during the process, it's going to give you a 6-digit reference number. It's very important that you write that down, because you're going to need to have your customers call in, or if you are the customer, you call in and reaffirm. What does reaffirmation mean? It simply means that you're going to confirm or validate that intent to have your service switched over to the local utility. Unless that call is made, folks, nobody gets paid, and the customer will sit in submitted status until it falls off. So I'm going to encourage you to right away, as soon as the customer enrolls, or as soon as you enroll as a customer, you pick up your phone and you call this 1-877-668-2943 Momentis reaffirmation number, and they'll welcome you to Just Energy. They'll ask you a few questions, and please be mindful that these are questions that you can just answer freely, and just understand that it's just a simple process, yes or no, and have that verify the service, and you're on your way. Now, once the service gets verified, a few days after that, it's going to switch over to what we call pending status, which is where you want it to be initially to trigger your commissions. Okay, so it will never go to pending status until that verification call is done. And so they're open until 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every night. So you want to make sure you do that. And then, of course, once that is verified, it goes to active status within 30 to 90 days, and then that's where the residual income kicks in. Okay, so the key here is that you want to verify right away. And also, if you don't have that email that gets sent out to you with your customer with their verification number, you can actually pick up that verification number in your M Center under your personally sponsored customer report. Okay, so let's talk about some of the reason why an enrollment would be canceled or delay. I know it can be frustrating at times when you enter a customer and then all of a sudden it goes as canceled or failed TPV, which is third party verification. And if your customer don't provide the proper information, they'll ask you if you were there as a representative when the customer was enrolling, and you have to make sure that is a no, because they will fail the customer for that. And so one of the other thing is if the account number is invalid, if the billing address or the name on the bill that I talked about is invalid or not put in properly, when they match it up with Enbridge, if it's not the same, it's going to kick it out. So you want to make sure you don't go through all the hassle and frustration with this. And of course, if you enroll a customer and they're already with the company, it's going to be a duplicate and it's going to reject. So make sure you look out for that information on the customer's bill, and you rest assured that you say, hey, we can't enroll you, but you can look at becoming someone in the business. So let's quickly talk about gathering some customers. How do you effectively go out and gather customers. I talk about talking about your why and really sharing why you're doing this business, showing your customers that you know what, it's a simple process. It's like changing your phone company, your numbers stay the same, and so on. So make sure you know you don't make it a big deal, but you're going to be able to maybe save them some money. But I'm going to tell you, folks, is the you need to gather customers the right way, and the way you gather customers and the way you teach your team to gather customers is going to greatly impact your residual income and how quickly you build a nice, healthy organization with customers. And so you want to make sure you do things the right way. And also you want to make sure you don't get in this business and just go ahead and just get one or two customers. It's all about you getting as many customers as you can. And 20 customers really is all you really need to get for the life of your business. So you want to make sure you go out and, in my opinion, right away, as soon as you get started, go out and get 5 services, 5 customers, folks. And if you can teach your team to do the same thing, you will end up as one of the top residual income earners in our team. And we're really excited about Team Legacy. You know, we have got some incredible leaders. We've got people who started from scratch, folks, and today are already making a six-figure. I'm talking in excess of $8 to $10,000 in residual income after just a couple of short years. And so I'm gonna really impress upon you, folks, that we've got something very, very special. And this is why we know we can leave a legacy for not only our family and our kids, but for generations to come by going out and gather customers properly. And we all have to do our part by going out and gathering a handful of customers and help and teach other people to do the same thing. I'm super excited about 2013, but I want you to know this has to be, and it can be, your best year ever. But you've got to plug in, folks, and expect to win. And we'll see you at the top. It's Clifton Wright, International Director, TPC member, and God bless.